We're live.
Yes, awesome. So, welcome everyone. We are in the studio with Christiana, and we will be talking
Online.
about conscious living, pranic living. Hello.
Yes. Thank you for having me, and I'm honored to be here. It's a pleasure to talk about pranic living and conscious, healthy lifestyle with you again. So we are streaming from Belgium, yes?
Yes.
Nice to nice to be there. Okay.
Okay, let's start. I received a book from you. It's called the Pranic World book. And I take a look at it very quickly, and I saw that you did a dark retreat. Can you tell me a bit about it?
Darkroom retreat is a training that I did three times in my life in Thailand at a therapeutic center with two different masters or teachers. One of them was Jasmuhin, who is nourished by prana as well, and one of them was Mantak Chia. The first darkroom that I did was in 2013, and it was 10 days in the dark, no food, just meditation and some liquid juice. I have a book about that training that I've written later on in the same year. And the book that I've written about it, because many people were asking the same questions, and I've said, okay, I'm going to write a book and everybody can read there about my experience and what we did and how it was. So I've written this book called Darkroom Retreat, Lightful Mystical Experience. I'm going to show it to you as soon as I find it. However, in that time, I had lots of revelations, and I realized that my lifestyle, or at least my work back in the day, was not aligned to my soul or my soul mission. And that's when I changed my life radically from leading a events organizing company in my birth town and being a business person but with a holistic training on the side. I've shifted that into starting from scratch as an author, a life coach, a therapist, and a public speaker. And that shift has happened within 2 months, I guess, or yeah, 2 months after the dark room. Because in deep meditation, I've seen my life, my previous lifetimes, some of them at least, and some of the things that I came to do here on earth. And I realized that I should get back on track with those things and I should align with that timeline because, time was running out. So it was a profound training. This is the Romanian version of the book that I've written back then about this retreat. And also you can find it in English, on Amazon, or you can order it and we also deliver it on paper. It also has a Kindle version of it. And I thank you for the question. Is there anything else you would like to know? Because that's what came to my mind in order to answer it.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. It also, I noticed a curiosity about how it was for you. How did you experience it? Was it intense? Was it confronting, or was it easy going for you? Or
It was not intense because I had the previous training in darkroom. I was doing 3 days per week or per month at home with no food and no light. So I was used to, not consuming food and sitting in deep meditation for a longer time. The pretty part here was that we also had a trainer, and that trainer would, keep you entertained from time to time with meditations, music, stories, and things, to keep your mind busy when it went sideways. So it was even better than what I did at home. It was not confronting at all. It was a deep rest, as if I was in my mother's womb or in a complete reset, without needing to do anything, without having to be anywhere, without needing to um, achieve anything. It was completely basking back into pure beingness. And that's what has reset it all my life. And this is what we're training to do now in Romania, we're starting to do darkroom retreats here as well. As
Beautiful.
a trainer, as a coach, I'm gonna do this soon for people.
Sounds really nice. And can you recommend this to people that are already starting in the beginning phase of living off prana, or is it a bit too early, or?
I was not living on prana when I was doing this retreat. It was the thing that opened me to show me that I can live like that because, 3 days at home, you call it fasting. But when it's 10 days, and after those 10 days, I had another, I think, more than 40 days that I didn't need food at all. I couldn't take food. I couldn't swallow even water in some days because there was such pure energy running through my system that I felt completely nourished and I felt very elated. And even water in some days would seem too rough to me. So it was more than a month for me in that state. Right after the dark room, I received that pranic state fully as a initiation that my guides, my spirit has done for me, so I could live in that way and see that it's possible to survive. Not only survive, but thrive. I had a lot of energy. I was going everywhere, doing sports and so on. So it was the beginning of my pranic living, and the proof that I consciously knew now that I can live that way. I had a previous experience in childhood, as I told you in the previous podcast that we had. But in that time of childhood, I did not think of pranic living, so it was not in my mind frame to, you know, put a label on it and get a spiritual badge out of it or something. But in this time that I was grown up already and I was in my 30s, I knew for sure that I can, live on prana after those more than 40 days with just prana and some juice, some days very little juice. So that's when I got it. I knew, okay, this is a way that I can live. I have it in me. It's okay. I can be that way. So it was the beginning of my pranic journey. Yes, I would recommend it to people. It can be intense for some. I've seen people, and I've written in this book about it, going through intense purging, um, things surfacing up, detoxes, vomiting. It was all kind of crazy stuff. There are people who have the experience of surfacing trauma where they've been buried alive or locked somewhere in the dark, and
Oh,
that trauma is
crazy.
somewhere deep in the subconscious, and it comes out when you are in a dark room for a long time. But for me, it was not the case. I'd been trained before, and I did a lot of detox and spiritual work before I went into dark room. So this is something that I would recommend, to do some detox, do some digging in your subconscious and stuff like this before you go through such an experience. Yeah, because in dark room the only way out is in.
I like that sentence. Is there still someone available if you do a
Yeah,
dark room retreat, if there's really something going on, or?
I was saying that we're preparing to do this in Romania, so it will be available soon, provided by us. Unfortunately, Jasmine doesn't do dark rooms anymore. I would love that to happen again for me. I've done another dark room in 2019, one with Mantic Chia, one with Jasmuhin. So it was in total, I think it was 17 days in total of this training where I didn't have food or light. And that was great too. So as soon as we're getting this thing ready, it will be available here in the mountains of Romania, and you can come join us
Hmm, nice. For
for
example, if I
4 days.
do if I do a dark room retreat and there is really something going on, is there still someone available, or is it just me in the dark room, or?
There is the training that is trainer or life coach or therapist that is there all the time, and they provide, I mean, in our case, we provide assistance. The trainings that I've had assistance was provided for someone who was going through stuff. That's why you're paying for the training. If you're doing it at home, there's no one else but you and your guides. So
Yeah,
that's the
makes
difference.
sense.
Someone can assist you, they can give you guidelines, tips, they can encourage you when you want to get out. For example, there are people who want to give up, get out. They are bored, they are hungry, they want burgers, they want to go to KFC. Someone, in my case, I provide support for the people that want to give up, for the people that go sideways in their choices, in their mind, and want to quit. That is important.
Mm. What I notice in my surroundings, like people do fasting and they have a curiosity around pranic living. They do it for like a couple of days or like a month, and then they fall back into eating, like eating a lot of food. Can you also give suggestions or recommendations or how to continue on this path without falling back into previous things? Or
I wouldn't call it falling. In pranic living, there are stages. There are several bodies that we have. You'll read about it in this book called the Pranic World book that you've just received, that was written by me in 2018. There are stages. In my case, the first stage was in childhood. I've been for more than a month without food. Not that I was malnourished or, there are several problems, that people have and they don't eat, anorexia, all that stuff. I was not that. I was just raising my vibration, going through some complicated time in my family. And after that time has been completed, I've been back to normal. So sometimes we need to raise our vibration. We go into the pranic state. We maintain it for a while. It can be a month to a year to several years. And then you, how to say, solidify back into a denser vibration sometimes. Or you ground certain energies, or you move into a new stage of your life, for example, marriage or partnership or a different business. Yes, and you might need to take some food, solid food or liquid food, to be able to relate to the people that you need to relate to that are in a different vibration. And that's part of life. That is part of your experience that your soul has chosen here. So it's not wrong, it's not that you failed, it's not. That is what I'm teaching in the pranic process. I'm doing a pranic process online with people since 2013, and I'm teaching them how to go through the stages of pranic lifestyle without falling into self-blame, self-depreciation, and guilt, because they have eaten again, and or they've chosen certain foods or whatnot. That is normal. There are stages of preparation for all your bodies where your physical body might be ready and it needs a detox and some time off. But if your emotional body is not ready and you're still having emotional attachments to certain beings or certain moments of your life, until these things get cleared out, you might need to, utilize some foods that reminds you of those happy moments, and you go back and eat those foods for a while. It's okay. It's part of your journey. And then you clear that memory or that cellular imprint or that trauma, and you can leave that food alone. You don't need it anymore. I'll give an example. There is this lady called Galina El Shiraz. You've seen it in my festival if you've watched it, the Pranic Festival online. We're still having the video package available. So all the conferences that you've had in the Pranic Festival online, you can still watch them. If you purchase the video package, not you specifically, but any people that is watching, they can have the video package and they can see all the conferences. One of the conferences was of a Russian lady that has been on water since 2003. So in 2003, she no longer needed solid food, physical foods, she went on water. After some years, a year or two, of not needing food, she got this message from her, an aspect of herself, that she really, really needed to take some baked potato bread, if you want. That's a traditional Russian thing that they do. And she wouldn't believe it. It's like, okay, I didn't eat for so long. Why would I eat this bread with potatoes? What's the thing? I mean, why should I trash my body with such a thing, right? When you're fully on prana, you ask yourself this question. Eventually, after a month of getting this message on and on and on, she finally decided to look in the house for a potato and some flour and bake just a small piece of that bread to see what's happening. Why does she need to have it? She baked it, she took a bite, and when she took a bite, the whole memory of her childhood, of her mother baking that bread for her, and all the loving and care she would receive from her mother in that time flooded her heart. So her heart expanded into a new dimension by tasting that bread and having that memory downloaded into her, integrating into her, right? So it was
Wow.
not a decrease of frequency, it was not a fall from grace. It was an initiation into an opening of the heart through some loving memory that she had in her childhood and that she received through a specific food. Is
Hmm.
that wrong?
No, that's beautiful. That's
That's
wonderful. That's
perfect.
very loving. That's sensitive. That's just allowing to let it be
Yes.
and let it unfold. And
Exactly. But when we go into pranic living or any lifestyle that is healthy with a strict, non-flexible direction that we want this and we only want this to happen and nothing else is allowed, we miss those moments. Those moments where your body or emotional field is expanding into something new or is healing something from inside, and you must give it the permission, and that might include changing the habits a little bit, you know, just giving into some old habits just a bit, not diving into them completely and then forgetting about the pranic lifestyle, forgetting about fasting, forgetting about everything and binging into everything again. That is trashing your body. But for example, in my case, I can live on liquids extensively, and usually I do. But there are some days when I receive the guidance to take a certain food and taste it or have it. It has to be vegan, it has to be small quantities. I prefer it to be raw. But I get the guidance to do it. Whenever I taste that thing, I get a person in my life that needed a conversation with me, or I needed a conversation with her or him. And that food that I've just tasted is their favorite food. So
wow,
it was
that's
just a
incredible.
frequency match. It was just a bridge to bridge between us through something that is accessing my emotional body and my physical vessel and going into them and back. So we just, matched frequencies in that way. Otherwise, the meeting might have been impossible. There are people that are telling me after I taste something, and they are telling me, oh, that's my favorite food. Oh my God, fantastic. And they're saying, I've been trying to call you for months. I didn't dare, or I didn't have time, or I didn't have find the, money if it's therapy or anything. So now it finally happened. Why? Because we frequency matched. We touched auras in some way.
Wow.
So I totally support, being flexible while also being able to contain that flexibility and not give in to binging and trashing your body old style
Hmm.
school.
Yeah, I didn't look at that before. That's very cool. Like it's some
Different
sort of
perspective.
synchronicity, an open invitation. If you consume someone's favorite foods, then you make a synchronicity to their being and make a connection. That's very
I'm sorry, something happened and my laptop just fell down. Just a second. Just a second. I'll take things one thing at a time. Hopefully, it's still functioning. Wow. So, life is interesting. I hope I also find my camera. So, everything fell on the floor, the laptop, the phones, everything, everything, everything. Just give me a moment to recalibrate this and put
Okay,
everything back on.
1 second.
Yes. Oh, wow. This conversation is intense. Ah, my camera didn't fall. I found it. Yes. Good. And the interesting thing is I didn't touch anything. They just fell off the office desk without me touching it. It's a beautiful life. Okay. Uh, 1 second, we calibrate everything back into normal. You see me and hear me well?
Yes, we
Good.
are
We're
back
back.
on track.
What is your next question?
After the collapse, we continue.
Sorry?
My next question will be, yeah, sometimes I drink or I eat something, and I noticed in the past, like the ego kicks in and it wants more and more and more. Do you also have suggestions or recommendations or how to stay at more balanced and in control instead of losing yourself in that?
Yes, my suggestion is to join a training where you get all this stuff and you get the meditations where you learn or just receive the initiation on how to get control over these things. I'm serious about it. I was not joking. It's not a suggestion that would solve that, but a longer time of going into meditation, clearing some emotional needs, detoxing the physical body sometimes because parasites and bacteria sometimes ask for specific foods. So it's a trip, it's a journey. It's not something that happens overnight. If I tell you a magic spell and poof, you are free from that. It takes a bit of work. And the trainings that we do include daily meditations of clearing and harmonizing our physical, emotional, mental, and energy fields in a way that we can hold more prana and less food. And in this book that you've just received, the Pranic World book, you also have details on the ways of how to detox each body in particular. So, how to detox your physical body, how to detox your emotional body, how to detox your mental body, and your energy field as well. Because these are aspects that need to be clear out in order for anyone to be free from certain foods or from binging in general.
If you're zooming in on the parasites, do you also have some things that can help people in that, or?
Yes, and it's all in the book and in the training, but as a short, um, you know, glimpse into it because it's a vast topic. There are different parasites that are living in different organs and they're needing different approaches to detox. But the black walnut is something that is good to be used. In Romania, we have a plant that is very bitter that is called pelin. I don't know the name in English yet. I will look it up and write it to you. But that is a parasite cleansing. The seeds of papaya that I'm just chewing this morning are very good for that. And the rest, we'll have to discuss because there's specific things for specific issues. Yeah.
Hmm, let's see.
And always after a paradise cleanse, a parasite cleanse, always use aloe vera juice because then it's just dead bodies living in your body. The parasites are little beings that, their bodies are dying inside you and they stay there if you don't get them out.
You did the parasite cleanse. Can you see them sometimes if they come out, or?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen anyone's. But yes, from internet, you've seen these pictures and you already know. I'm reading in your auric field that you already know the answer to this question. So let's skip. Yes, the
Yeah, and
parasite
what
cleanse.
about the sexual energy? I notice if I really feel like my body is digested like foods and drinks, I feel very high energy and also my sexual energy rise up. Do you also have recommendations of how to deal with it?
Yes, get a nice partner. Or learn to transmute your energy. There are books and retreats like the ones we have this weekend. We have a retreat this weekend from the, the 3rd to the 5th of July, where we talk about exactly this thing: conscious intimacy, conscious relationships, conscious sexuality, how to transmute your sexual energy. And there are specific exercises and practices and breathwork techniques and yoga poses that are helping with that. Also, certain foods or certain types of fasting. So, again, it's a vast subject, but there are exercises that, yes, you can be in celibacy and you can be harmonious. In Tantra, there are two branches of Tantra. One is called White Tantra, where you learn the practices to do solo with yourself, to learn how to circulate your energy. And the Red Tantra is the one that you practice with your partner. Ideally, after you've practiced some White Tantra, so that you have some inner balance yourself. Those two branches are very good to practice and to get in touch with. Yeah. And
Do
the
you
books
have
of Mantak Chia being a Taoist master that is very, very well trained and very, someone that I recommend, are very useful for that, for women and for men.
Okay, and do you have an opinion or a standpoint around the subject of masturbation?
Yes, it's called self-pleasuring in my world, and I prefer to approach it in a healthy way rather than the people who demonize it. Because people have been doing this for centuries and animals do it too, so why put a label on it? If it's abusive of the or depleting, same as sex, it can be not harmonious for you or your spirit and your bodies, including the energy body. But if self-pleasuring is done with the purpose of learning about our bodies, learning about how to control our energy, learning about how to harmonize our field, and eventually, having pleasure, because that's also okay, then it can teach you a lot and it can give you more control and more accuracy regarding your own physicality and your own sexuality. That requires a conscious practice as anything else. If it's just done to get off, I wouldn't recommend it much, because then it's just especially for men, it's just a depletion of energy. So people waste a lot of energy through that, especially while watching certain movies and so on. So it's sharing the energy with the people in the movie and then getting imprints from them, and it's very much of a toxic practice.
Mm.
So I've given you both the good and the bad.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, it also is a bit related to pornography, I guess. It's also a bit
That's what
like
I was referring to.
the dark hole.
When I said certain movies, I was referring to pornography, of course.
Hmm. How do you deal with people that are a bit defending against pranic living? They're a bit like judgmental or criticizing. They can't see it that it's possible. How do you approach or get in conversation with these people?
I'm not trying to convince anyone about anything, because that's a waste of time and energy. But if you're asking how to deal with family and dear ones while you want to have a certain lifestyle, for example, pranic lifestyle, that's a different approach, because you cannot just ignore or just discard them. Some of them are worried for you, some of them are just not informed, so then they are reluctant because they don't know much about it. So whenever there's a topic that people don't comprehend around me, I try to provide information. The more scientific it is, the better, the merrier, because then you quiet their minds as well. I mean, their minds need scientific explanations and studies and reassurance from doctors, for example, and whatnot. So in my case, I would say that in India, there's been this study that has been done on an Indian saint for 10 days and then 14 days. You know about it probably. The saint is called Pralajani, and the study has been done with the insistence and the order of Ministry of Defense of India. So they wanted to know more about pranic living because they wanted their soldiers to learn it so that they don't spend so much budget on food for the soldiers. So India has had a very open approach, and they said, okay, let's test and see if that's possible. So they tested their greatest saint, a person that was living 70 years without food, and they put him in a hospital. And for 10 days first time, and then 14 days the second time, they gave him no food, no water, no permission to bathe, so that he doesn't absorb water through the pores of his skin. Completely guarded by guardians from the Ministry of Defense and from the hospital specialists, supervised with CCTV cameras. Everything was, check, check, check. And 35 specialists were working on him to test his systems, doctors and neurologists and so on. It was the head of neurology at the Ahmedabad hospital that conducted this study twice. He is a personal friend of mine, someone close that I know, and I know his authenticity and his, integrity. And this study has shown positively that a person can live by prana and not have any imbalance in their bodies, and also have very young internal organs. So, for example, his pineal gland was showing an age of a 65-year person. No, 65, 16, sorry, 16-year old, so teenager, right? And he was 75 back in the day. So this study proves medically, with specific testing having been done twice, not just once, that there are people who can live like that. And many people have been studied over the world. Ray Maor, I think, he has done a study on himself, medically, and other people as well. So if there are some who can, then this is possible, okay? And my book, this pranic world book that you've seen, can also offer scientific studies of why the hunger hormones are decreasing when you're fasting after a few days of fasting. It is a fact that the production of melatonin regulates the hunger hormones, and therefore you're less hungry when you're fasting. The production of melatonin increases with fasting, and it regulates the hunger hormones. It regulates the production of ATP as well. And I was talking to a friend the other day about the production of ATP that is increased during running. He was saying that, I'm a sportsman, so because I'm a sportsman, I need to eat more. I cannot give up food. And I gave you the example of a friend who is living on liquids and wins triathlons just with orange juice, half a glass per day during his trainings. And then he remembered, yes, because Nassim Haramein, a scientist that we have and is specialized in quantum physics, explains that mitochondria are spinning and producing more ATP when we are moving. So naturally, the body is a biochemical engine, and during movement, you produce more energy than during eating or digestion. So there's a lot to learn about our bodies, and there's a lot of studies that our body is functioning a little bit different than what we thought we did. And in this book, there's also studies about NASA suit, a calorimetry NASA suit that has proven that the people that have been tested with that suit, just for testing its efficiency, because people were going out in space with it, the people that were wearing this suit proved that they consume 25%, they produce 25% more energy than the energy that they take from food. Where does this 25% extra energy come? NASA didn't know. They called it an unidentified source of energy. But we know that it is prana. And those people that have been tested were normal people, no energy practice, no fasting, no training. They were just regular Joe. When a person that has a training of energy and how to run energy through their bodies would be tested with such a suit, people would notice that we produce far more energy than we consume. Interesting.
Yeah, that's very nice facts. Do you also, for example, if I go to a social aspect, are you very picky with people that you interact very frequently on the pranic state, or do you don't make any difference, or?
No, no, not picky. Not picky at all. I was just telling my friend the other day, I have friends or acquaintances from all kinds of areas, from scientists to holistic people to doctors to sellers that sell in the shops on the street, and all kinds of people that have no holistic training, no interest in anything like that. I relate to anybody at the soul level, and as long as people are not rude, aggressive, or purely uncomfortable completely by their way of being, I
Mm-hmm.
don't pick my people. I just see hearts. I see
Mm,
their soul, and I'm fascinated
yeah,
by
it's very
by them.
beautiful.
And another thing is that I don't get very bored. So if there are persisting on topics that I'm not interested in, or try to convince me to talk about politics and things like that, I might be bored. But that's not picky. That's just using my time wisely.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I have the same opinion. Is there something that I would like to share? Yeah, what about after if I go for intensive sports, is it still possible to recover in pranic mode or
It's even easier to recover in pranic mode if you've been if somebody has been a professional sportsman. For example, one of my friends has been a professional sportsman, and because of pushing himself very hard in his childhood and his youth and his adolescence, he has had a very severe inflammation by the age of
the screen is a bit hanging? Christiana dropped off. Maybe there's a connection issue or so. Let's have a wait. Maybe she's coming back. I will contact her. Let's end this. Oh, here she is. Yes. Christiana, are you back?
type your questions in the comments or any observations that you might have. We're back in. Thank you for waiting. The internet went off. I was just saying that there's a storm coming in. Do you hear me well?
Yes, we are back. Nice.
I'm back. I don't see. You can see me also?
I see a little picture, but not you.
Okay, I'll just show you shortly. Okay, now it should be me. Okay, here we are. Okay, any other question? I have like 5 more minutes, so if there's anything that you would like to ask, that is the final opportunity.
Mhm.
I don't
Okay.
have much time today.
Okay. Do you
Oh,
have?
you see, the background has changed in a beautiful way. I didn't do
Yeah.
it; it just happened. So yeah, I'm happy about that.
Yeah,
We're
it's
going, we're going intergalactic.
multidimensional being.
What? Sorry.
Multidimensional being in the universe.
Okay. So, what would be the next question, and maybe the final one,
Okay. Mm,
if you
how
have
to
any? If not, don't push yourself. We'll talk another time.
Yeah, I feel I have one question left. How to deal with
Yes.
intense emotions like anxiety, loneliness, panic, how to deal with these and overstress things or overstimuli. Do you have recommendations around that?
Yes. Get a therapist. Do some sessions with a life coach. Find the root cause of the anxiety and the all the other stuff that you've mentioned, because they are deeply rooted somewhere in your system, or the system of a person who is having these things, and they need to be addressed. Yes. Any pill or tea would not make it go away for good. It will just diminish the effects of it. I do one-on-one sessions and one-on-one pranic processes exactly for that, because people want to go pranic, but they go through all these range of emotions that are very heavy sometimes, and they use food to comfort themselves, or just use food to, you know, eat, as a result of intense hunger caused by excessive mental activity. When you learn to decrease that mind activity and preserve your energy, you no longer eat that much food. Meditation would be the first recommendation, and breath work as well, and sports for home practice, you know. But if you don't go to the root cause, the home practice is very good, but it doesn't, it diminishes the effects, it does not suppress the cause. That's what I would say.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Yes, so I highly recommend booking sessions either with me or other therapists and life coaches that are working with emotional healing, and also, of course, going to any type of training that works on that topic.
Yes.
For example, in our retreat this weekend that is called Upgrade Your Relationships and Intimacy, we talk a lot about emotional detox, emotional healing, and how to deal with emotions individually, but also while relating with others. I find it very useful if you want to have healthy relationships in general. I'm not sure. Do you see me?
I see you in the universe at your sofa. It's quite
Okay, I'm not
impressive.
sure which image is. Okay, okay, okay. So, would that be the final topic of today?
Yeah, I feel I'm finished for now. Thank you so much for your time, energy, commitment, and all your knowledge and wisdom sharing and your beingness as you are.
Thank you, and it was a pleasure to answer your questions. For any other inquiries, people can look me up. My name is eltrayan, so it's no longer Christina, as people sometimes call me. I have a TikTok at eltrayan9, Instagram at eltrayan9, Facebook Christiana Eltrayan, and YouTube Christiana Eltrayan, where you can find lots of information. There's also the website soulhealingacademy.com/events, where you find useful tips, articles, and of course the next events that we are having. The next events that are close now coming, it's this weekend of Upgrade Your Relationships and Intimacy Retreat, and next weeks from 18th of July, we have a Mary Magdalene retreat where we share about conscious lifestyle and the healing system of the Magdalens. That's a specific order that works with the heart, that works with the energy of the rose, it works with essential oils, with conscious intimacy, mastering sexuality, and we learn about all that in that retreat on the around the date of 22nd of July, because that's when Mary Magdalene's day is. And of course, the Pranic Festival in Romania on August 15 to 18 that you were also interested in. We're still having it here in the mountains of Romania. I would love to see you all there. Those are the next events that we are offering.
Thank you for sharing for
And
your
the
vision.
series of retreats on Pranic Living after the festival until the end of August.
Okay, amazing. Thank you for mentioning all these as well.
Yes. All are on the website soulhealingacademy.com/events. That's where you find the whole magic. Okay. Much love. See you soon. Thanks for having me. We'll see you next time. I suggest another session whenever you're ready. And till then, may the universe be with you, as some of my friends are saying. Um, or may the prana be with you. See you soon.